All right, everyone, we should be live on the Saturday morning live stream. I'm super excited about today. This is going to be awesome. We are going to be featuring Ron Hubbard from Atlas Survival Shelters. A lot of you guys are already familiar with Ron, but if you're not, let me start putting stuff up on the stream really quick. So Atlas Survival Shelters is like the world's best survival shelters, underground bunkers, whether you want to have a wine cellar or you're worried about tornadoes or what EMPs, it doesn't matter. He covers it all. He has a huge catalog on his website. Make sure that you follow. I provided links in the description box with regard to his YouTube channel, his very popular YouTube channel, his Instagram channel. It has a lot of information on there as well. And then also mainly through the website. So what we're going to be doing for this live stream, I have a ton of questions myself. Feel free to send chats in the chat room and we'll try to ask Ron himself with regard to anything in regard to an underground bunker. He's the man for it. And I'm super excited for this. So let me get my setting over here. All right, there we go. So without further ado, let's bring on Ron Hubbard, owner from Atlas Survival Shelters. Let's get going. There we go. That was my intro. Yeah, so thanks again for coming on. So,
I didn't want to piss anybody off, so I wore an Obama shirt for you Democrats and a Trump hat for
yeah, that's awesome. Everyone's gonna be totally confused by that. So
I'm confused.
Yeah, when you go out and about, what do people say when they see that?
Are they gonna say you're that YouTube guy?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
The only time I do it is when I'm flying. So when I fly through the airport, my MAGA hat videos have got millions of views. So people sometimes know who I am. So they pick up on it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. People are already coming and saying hello. Love you, Ron. I don't know if you can see this on yours. Ron's on his iPhone, so hopefully everything works for this stream. That's a shout out to. Oh, looks like we got a super chat. Cool, from MRL. So yeah, just saying hi to everyone over here. But yeah, that's one of my favorite videos. Yeah, that's one of my favorite videos that you did.
I'm in California today. I don't come here about once a month. Just to check up on my door factory and the original bomb shelter factory. But I just come in for 2 days and I go back, and that's my life.
Yeah. Well, very cool. I'm super happy that you were able to take the time out to talk to the people here on my channel. And I've been a big fan of yours for. I think I first saw the Atlas Survival Shelters like probably several years back through Equipped to Endure. I think made a video on it, but then I didn't really become familiar with you until you appeared on Chris City Prepping's channel, which was really exciting.
Yeah, I've collaborated with a few YouTube Canadian Prepper, City Prepping. I've been on Demolition Ranch. Who else? I can't remember them all, but
normally what we do for these type of guests is we try to first do a little introduction on some of the background stuff with regard to you. I have questions on my end, and then oftentimes we just go rapid fire Q&A with the chat room because people I'm sure have. So if you're watching watching this video now, again, you may be confused because he has a MAGA hat and an Obama shirt, so it's very confusing to people.
Hey, it's great for YouTube when I fly because people, they smile then they frown. No matter who you are, you smile and you frown, or you frown and you smile, or you frown and look bewildered. I just love to mess with people. It makes for good, entertaining YouTube. What can I say?
Yeah, totally. What I was just going to start kicking off with some of the background information. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with Ron, maybe we could talk a little bit. How do you get into the career of making bunkers? I was kind of curious on your background.
Well, I came to Los Angeles to become a supermodel, and it didn't work out so well.
I saw that I went on your LinkedIn profile because I was doing research on Atlas Survival Shelters, and there's a LinkedIn job category for underground bunker maker, but I didn't see that. Really? I didn't see the model, the fashion model type credentials that you have.
I'm kidding, of course. I've been a steel fabricator. This is my 40th year, and then I've owned a steel factory. And about 11 years ago, I saw a YouTube video about an underground bunker in Utah and the guy that was making it there. And so I went over there in like 2009 or 10. I can't remember. I think it's 2009. And I got to go through his bunker and check it out. And I was like, this is just too cool. I mean, this would be fun to have one and put one out on our ranch, and then I could just hang out there when I go hunting and just make it a man cave. And I basically kept working on my design and kept sending this guy my ideas. And then my door business, my iron door business, slowed down because of the Chinese were knocking me off. So I was like, you know what? I got some time. I think I'll just make the bunker. And you can see the design behind me where it's like the people walking in and the escape tunnel. Basically, I wanted to do the bunker that way because I studied the engineering and learned about attenuation for gamma and all these things and right-hand turns and all that stuff. So by the time I was done, the guy's price was ridiculous. So I just basically built it myself. And I was like, you know what? There might be other people like me, because this is in 2011 now that I made the bunker. And so I was offering him for $70,000 because the people that were in the industry were basically, they're quite cuckoo. I found that out. It's like they weren't very normal. It's like, I don't think there's a sane person in the shelter industry. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I should try to sell a few, whatever. It's kind of a side thing at first, and we were making it in the back. But I sold maybe 10 that first year, and then I ended up on Doomsday Preppers that year, and that was a big deal. And the business kind of took off. And then so it's been an up and down business ever since. I mean, it's either feast or famine. You either sell 2 or 3 in a month, or you don't sell one for 3 or 4 months. It's just like that. And I was like, I got to create some steady business if I'm going to do this. So I started thinking, or I started listening to people that said, hey, do you have a bunker in the $30,000, $25,000 range? I'm like, no, I don't, because the air system alone costs like $10,000. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try to create a shelter for the working class people. So I set out to make a shelter that I could make for under $15,000 with an air system. I know it was quite a task to try to create a steel bomb shelter with an air system for under $15,000. And that was my goal. That way, anybody could afford one. And 100% of people that wanted a shelter could have one. All they had to do was have a piece of property in their backyard and house. Well, I didn't achieve that goal because the steel prices went through the roof, and then everything went up. But I did achieve it at under $20,000. So it's still affordable. It's still under the price of a boat for a lot of my shelters, or a fishing boat. But for the most part, most of the shelters I make, they start around, $30,000, $40,000 and go up to about $100,000. And you know what? But by the time I'm done, they feel like a 2-bedroom apartment or a house, and they're pretty cool. I mean, people who watch my channel, they know what my bunkers look like. I try to make them feel as cozy as possible. And the one thing about me is I'm not a perfect human being. Nobody is. But I'm always striving to make the shelters better. And luckily, because I have that attitude, a lot of people that had been in the business for 30, 40 years that were getting out of it basically kind of passed a lot of their knowledge on to me and said, look, you seem like a decent enough guy. You'll be the keeper of this, and you care to make it a product. Because anybody who knows me from my door business, I make the best iron doors in the world, bar none. Okay.
Nice.
Maybe not the most expensive, but I care about the quality. I build these doors. We sandblast them. We use automotive primer, automotive paint. I mean, you can't see the wells. It's flawless. And I've done over 10,000 houses here in California. So I put that same attention to quality that I put into my doors, into my bunkers. Do I get it right every time? No, but I care to. So the improvements I've made over the years to my bunkers is just too many to count. But I mean, I look at the first bunker I did. I wasn't far off compared to what I do now. But the things I do now, like hot dip galvanized stairs, hot dip galvanized air pipes, hot dip galvanized, pretty much everything, bolts in, you name it. If I can galvanize that, I do. Why? Because it will last forever. So I want to make a shelter. My attitude was in 2011 and 12, well, I better make a shelter that will last for 100 years, because they probably won't need it for 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
Boy, was I wrong.
We're going
to need them a lot sooner than that.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are into the tiny homes right now. How does the underground bunker price compare to the tiny home price?
Yeah, I think a tiny home would probably be about the same price.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking.
A little less expensive, because it's just some wood and nails, But I don't make tiny homes, so I
Yeah.
really don't know. But
I'm just trying to figure out, for a lot of the people that watch my channel, we're kind of into urban preparedness. So I'm trying to figure out ways that I know that urban preppers or urban people like the tiny homes. Maybe it's a way of justifying it. Hey, instead of a tiny home, let's go underground bunker on there. Already people are making comments with regard to G. Russell was talking about just tuned in. Obama, seriously. Special thanks to
no. I'm a Trump man. I'm just trying to be bipartisan today in case you've got a liberal watching your channel.
Well, yeah, I have
feel at home in my house.
So,
but I'm a Trump man, tried blue. I wear my Trump hat every day with pride. But you know what? I saw this Obama shirt. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be funny today.
Yeah.
And I only wear this shirt. Matter of fact, I physically get sick when I wear this shirt when I fly, because the looks that people give you when you wear an Obama shirt to Texas is pathetic. I mean, they're like, they don't say nothing, but they just look at you like you are just a sad excuse for a human being. So I physically got sick the first time I wore this shirt. I haven't worn it but a couple times, but I saw it today. I thought it'd be funny for your audience. But guys, no, I'm a Trump man, tried and true. But
yeah, I think yeah, my audience, they come from all backgrounds and all. I guess I have people from all sides of the political spectrum.
Hey, listen, man, I've been in California for almost 18 years. I've learned to just get along with everybody. You know what? I mean, I have nothing against anybody, but you know what? If you have something against me for believing in the Constitution and the First Amendment and the Second Amendment, then you know what? You shouldn't probably be watching this stuff anyway.
Yeah. I have a special shout out to Ryan Jones of the Super Chat. He has a question that he has. So I thought we could go through our first question. He says, how much depth is required to fully cover the bunker? And if you had any difficulty in areas with a high water table?
You got to have at least 2 foot of solid concrete or 3 foot of packed earth to protect you from gamma radiation. But the deeper you go in the ground, the cooler it will stay. An example is once you go 6 feet below the earth, or 3 meters if you're in Canada. 2 meters if you're in Canada, which is actually 6'6". But once you hit 6 feet underground, the earth becomes a constant temperature, and it will stay somewhere between 56 and 58 degrees. Now, I just did a video like a week ago that I talked about that, called Nebraska bunker hidden in the silo or something. I don't know. I mean, it's got like 300-some thousand views, so it's doing okay. But I showed the temperature in the bunker. When I went in there, it was 56. By the time I left, it was 58, because just leaving the door open. But it was hot outside. And but the deeper you go, the cooler it will stay. Okay. But at some point, you go deep enough, it will just stay the same temperature.
Cool. And then we have another comment over here from Andre. This is from Brazil, and he's wondering how to conceal the bunker from the government.
Move to another country.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I had, is like, if someone were in an urban environment, were to install one of these bunkers, I imagine all the neighbors would be asking, what are you putting in there? Do you have is there a typical response that your customers give to people to explain what they're putting under the ground, or how do they kind of disclose it?
Well, every bunker I build eventually gets disguised and hidden. Now, you may not see that in my videos when I'm installing them, but if anybody with any common sense or practical sense is going to do something to disguise the hatch and the air pipes to their bunker. Now, the ways you can do it, there's several ways you can do it, but there's artificial rocks. One way, if you're putting it out like on a farm, you put it in a junk pile. You put a 55-gallon barrel over the air pipes with a bunch of holes punched in it, and that will let the air in. No one's going to think there's an air pipe under a barrel. And then, like the escape hatch, like I just did in that video in Nebraska, the escape hatch came up through the bottom floor of an abandoned van, which was very cool. It was very Mad Max type.
Wow.
And then as far as the hatch goes, typically it's hidden under a playground, a shed. In that video, it's in a silo, okay? But we also put them under the house, and we do remote floors and behind false walls. But I've done a whole series of videos on how to hide bunkers and doing secret passages and secret doors. They just got to tune in and watch some of my videos, and you'll see all this stuff. But I cover the whole gamut of not just getting the bunker, but how to grow the food in the bunker, how to use the escape hatch, how to power it. I mean, you name it,
Yeah.
I'm covering it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking at, I'm putting up your channel right now because I mean, yeah, Atlas Survival Shelters has a ton of videos and you're constantly cranking them out. And I especially the last one I watched was how to grow the food in the bunker. I thought that was really cool to see that. So I was just going to keep going through some questions. So when someone orders the bunker, does it come in a big truck that says Atlas Survival Shelters, or is it something a little bit more discreet?
No, it comes on an 18-wheeler with no markings, and I never use the same truck twice, so no one driver would know more than where it is, because we just use a contract trucker. When the trucker shows up to take the bunker, he doesn't even know what he's taking. He thinks he's taking a big piece of a steel box or a gas tank or a culvert. I mean, he sees the sign and he knows what he's taking by the end. But guess what? They don't care. They just want to get it unloaded and get on to their next load. So when I sell a bunker to somebody, I never get their full name. Now, they may slip and give it to me, but I don't write it down. Yeah. So if you're in Missouri and your name's David, I invoice you David in Missouri. Okay. And that's all I ever have. We don't leave a paper trail. They wire me the money. So when the money comes into the bank, it has no name on it. Sometimes I get confused if two amounts come in from the same. Hey, did you send me some money? But I'm doing everything I can to prevent people from being found out from the dark state. Okay. Now, I truly believe that if the government could know everyone and anyone that has a bunker and where it's at, they probably would want to know it. And if not now, probably in the future. But what's getting ready to happen in this country is going to be very sad. So many people, as well as I do, feel that the shit's about ready to hit the fan, and we're going to end up in some sort of giant anarchy, civil war type situation, kind of like I don't know, kind of like nothing that we've ever seen before. But they called it civil war, but it's really just going to be a full-blown anarchy. And you know what? If these police go on strike, like they're talking about on July 4th, you're going to see these looters. And that's what I call them now. I just call them looters. You'll see these looters come out by the thousands, and people. That's why people are buying guns like crazy. You know, once the looters give up on the stores and they start hitting the houses, they're going to get their butt shot. You know, so people just want to protect themselves. But you know, the future doesn't look too bright for America as well. The world is why so many people are looking for a piece of land to go hide out. You know, go hide on. I mean, everyone that calls me is like, this is what they say. Hello, Atlas, can I help you? Yeah, I'm getting 5 or 10 acres of land. I want to put a bunker on it, build a little cabin on top. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much every single call. And that's what I do. It seems like all I do is build bunkers with cabins on top.
Do the majority of the people, and I think I have some people that are asking some of the questions here, but do the majority of the people that buy the bunkers from you first have their plot of land with no cabin on it, or is the cabin already there? And then also how much space is really needed to put one of these bunkers on average?
Well, I mean, you could buy an acre of land if you butt up to a national forest, okay? But typically most people want 5-10 acres of land. The lucky ones have 40 or 70 acres, but more of the land, the merrier. So you can have a field of view, so you can hide your bunker in there and keep it shielded. But most of them do not have a cabin yet. You know, they're looking for the raw land. Yeah. They're going to put it in the bunker, then put a shed or a cabin on top of it, or put a shed and turn it into a cabin. You know, that's actually very easy to do. It's very inexpensive. You can buy these beautiful sheds from Lowe's for like $14,000 that are like 400 square feet with a loft, and they're cute as hell. And you can just build out a little cabin in them and have your little place to get away from, you know, whatever happens. Because the thugs and the looters are going to stay in the city. They're not going to really go roaming out into the country. They'll stay confined to the city because that's where they're comfortable. And then they'll go back to their neighborhoods, you know, and do what they're going to do. But, you know, people just want to get out of the way of fire when it starts. And it's coming. I mean, it could happen tomorrow. It could happen today. In Oklahoma, after Trump speaks, who knows when it's going to happen? All I know is, and all I think is, a lot of people think it's going to happen. And if anybody disagrees with me, send them a comment right now, okay?
Yeah.
Because everyone I know thinks something's going to happen. I mean,
so
it has to happen.
I imagine your customers come from a wide different background. You have probably some zombie people. You have people concerned about EMPs. You have civil unrest type people. So did you notice any kind of spike that happened during the initial stages of the coronavirus, the COVID-19 stuff, or is it more of a spike happening now with some of the protests and looting and everything?
There was a big spike in phone calls during the COVID thing. There were some people buying bunkers, but for the most part, I was talking most of the people out of buying an air system or a bunker. There's a lot of uninformed people that think by hiding in a bunker you won't catch COVID. And I basically said, look, it's not airborne like in the wind. It's only airborne from like 6 feet away. And as long as you just stay away from people and confine, your chances of catching it are very slim. I mean, the only odds you got is if Amazon delivers a package with some COVID on it or something. But for the most part, it's on, we're 118,000 deaths now. It's declining a lot. If you're old, sick, or weak, you know what? You need to be wearing a mask and worry about it. But if you're pretty healthy and getting along and athletic and young, I mean, really, I don't know anybody athletic that has got it and died from it. I mean, this is why they're going to allow football to play, this coming fall. So, yeah, we'll see.
Here's another question from a Prepper Agenda. So, Ron, can your air filter out all the ash from a supervolcano, and what can't it filter out?
The answer is no. What it will not filter out is only one thing: carbon monoxide, which is the coming out the tailpipe of a gasoline or diesel motor. So it will, because you can't filter carbon with carbon. Okay, it doesn't work that way. Trying to filter water with water, it mixes. So the air system has a carbon filter and it has a HEPA filter in it. And so the only thing in the NBC air filtration system will not filter out is carbon monoxide. And NBC stands for nuclear, biological, and chemical.
Yeah.
But that's it. And of course, we don't make it known. But people say, well, I'll just back up my car and put an air pipe into your exhaust and I'll just smoke you out. Well, guys, I mean, I've outthought that. I mean, I have a shutoff valve in my bunker. So if air was coming from the outside, it automatically it would hit the shutoff valve. But if it's being pumped in that way, it would shut the shutoff valve. I mean, I've covered it in my videos. And then if they try to pour gasoline in there, it will go straight into the ground. So there are tamper-proof air pipes. But look, I want to make it very clear. There is not a bunker on God's green earth that cannot be penetrated with the right amount of time, men, and equipment. Okay? The best solution is to get your bunker, keep your mouth shut, and hide it. Okay? It's no guarantee that's going to save your life. All it means is that you have a plan B. And what is plan B? If a disaster strikes, you go into plan B. And plan B is where you're going to go with your family and hunker down. Plan C is what you're going to do if you got to leave that bunker. Okay. So, I mean, all I'm offering is plan B.
Yeah. And on all your bunkers, or the ones at least that I've seen, there's usually an escape tunnel. So there's the main, bulletproof steelhead bulkhead door, and then you usually, I'm showing this on the screen really quick, and then it looks like your escape. Yeah.
Yeah. There's the entrance is on the left side of your screen there. You go down the stairs into the mudroom. You decontaminate in there if you had to. Take off your clothes, enter the bunker, and then on the far end of the bunker, that's an escape tunnel. Okay, so there's always one way in and two ways out on my larger shelters. Only my small shelters only have one way in and one way out because there's basically no room to do an escape for the most part. I mean, you could do it, but
yeah. Wait, let's see. I have a question over here from MI Prepper. Can you have a bunker built under your garage in a suburban neighborhood?
Yeah, that's how most of them are. You can actually add a bunker under your garage on an existing house as long as you have a driveway and they can cut the footer to the entrance of the garage. So I have one bunker called Garnado. Okay.
Yeah.
Garnado. The bunker would be under the driveway and the entrance would be in the garage, and they start at like $20,000. It's actually my least expensive shelter. There it is right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So it was designed for that. That's why it's called Garnado, for the garage. Garage tornado shelter, garage bunker. Yeah.
Oh, that's really sweet. So would
you just had it. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. If someone wanted to add this, would they do this before they had the concrete laid in their garage?
No, this is the only way to get a bunker into a house on an existing house without doing a remodel and adding an extra room. If you're doing a remodel and you're adding an extra room, yeah, do it. Put in the bunker there, and then you can have the entrance into that extra room.
Yeah.
Which means that the air conditioning rolls over to the bunker, and it always keeps the hallway cool as well. So on these shelters, they have an airtight, gas-tight door on them, and that keeps the inside of the bunker cool, where the hallway, which is the hatch going down, that could get a little warm and steamy in the summer because there's no AC to it. But the idea is to keep the bunker cool inside and keep all your food fresh and your water fresh.
Yeah, and look, there's a lot of storage. You're known for having a lot of storage areas and compartments in your bunkers, and I see that even on the Garnado as well.
I am all about storage. Most all the bunkers I'm making have storage in them, whether they're square or round. I like to have storage in them because you would be surprised how much stuff, if you're a true prepper, you will accumulate. My personal preps, oh my God. I mean, I've got pallets and pallets of food and water and stuff. Yeah, if you're doing it right, you will fill up a bunker. Now, if you just put a bunker in the ground and it's just like a shipping container,
yeah,
by the time you get all your food and water in there, you feel like you're living in a shipping container full of stuff. I mean, it's like moving into a storage closet. I mean, there's nowhere to move and lay down, and you can't see anything. But that's how some people make their bunkers. I don't agree with it. And I mean, I do make some like that, but typically when I make them without storage, they're called a wine cellar or a gun room or just a man cave or something like that. So I'll make them both ways. So if you want a shelter from me, under the floor storage is an option. It adds 20% to the base price. So let's say you're looking at a bunker that costs $40,000 and you want under the floor storage, just 2 feet of under the floor storage. That bunker will be $48,000. That's that's a safe cellar you're showing right there.
Okay,
Basically, shows the shelter coming up under the kitchen counter. Just one way to hide the entrance. Yeah.
What's the most unique? I imagine a lot of people that want these. They probably primarily want them for emergency purposes, but is there any people that get them specifically for a man cave or for a music studio or a underground speakeasy or anything like that? What's the most unique one that you've installed for?
I mean, all the above. I mean, I show illustrations on my website of them being gun rooms, hobby rooms. I got one with stripper poles in it with lavender couches. I mean, if you game rooms, coin collection rooms, fishing rooms, movie theaters. The most common is gun rooms, wine cellars, and movie rooms. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you build a new house, there's what's called the big three, which is a pool, the wine cellar, and the movie theater. Okay. So these big houses always have those three. Okay. Yeah. It's just chic to have them. You just got to have them. So what my bunker does, it can double. You put in the bunker, but it can double as the wine cellar. It can double as the movie theater if it's large enough. So you get a 2-for. You get 2 for 1, and it's just a fun, good, wise investment. Now, in the last year or so, it seems like in the last month or so, or the last 2 months, I mean, people are thinking the fun part of the bunkers. They're really thinking, I want to get my family protected, and I just want to get ready for what can happen, because it could get really nasty really fast. And so they don't really joke around as much as they used to, but I used to promote them more as a fantasy room, and then if shit hits the fan, you've got you a bunker too. But now it's a bunker first, and by the way, you could have fun with it if you wanted. So they're like, well, but we think something's going to happen. So
well, I'm way behind on all these Q&A. Everyone's having these all these different questions, so I'm going to just do rapid fire with you. This one's from Mandy. This is out of curiosity: if you're in the bunker, would you be visible on body heat detector, or is that not possible underground?
No, it's not possible underground to be found with a heat detector. But I'm not saying the military doesn't have something that can't find you. I don't know what all the military has.
Yeah,
I'm sure they have ways, but the bunkers I make are either made of steel or they're poured in place concrete with rebar. Now I do some bunkers with the salt or fiberglass rebar, and then they're anti-radar. You can't find them with radar, and very few people do that. But we do that on the Monolithic Domes. Those are like big bunkers that are like 40-foot in diameter with 16-foot ceilings. And you can literally live in there. You can play basketball in there. I mean, it's just got high ceilings. They're so big, but there's a lot of people who just live in the Monolithic Domes full time. So you can put them underground, live in them if you want. I mean, it's each his own.
There's a kind of funny question. This is from Aaron. This is a bunker reality show. Sounds like a Survivor, sort of like Survivor would be cool. Maybe Raven Rock or somewhere similar. What's the longest that you've heard of someone staying in one of your bunkers for an extended period of time?
Well, that would be me, I guess, for 11 days. But, I spent 11 days in one of my bunkers. And the one thing, and that was my first bunker that I did for myself. And I went down there December 21st. I went down there December 2019, 2012 for the Mayan calendar, the end of the world, which was December 21st, 2012. And I went down there and I stayed an extra week. And so I was there a total of 11 days. But, it's just like staying in a hotel room. I stayed in the master bedroom. I laid there on the couch and watched TV. And then about every 4 hours, some television truck would pull up and do a live story. So I was on Good Morning America, the Today Show, Live with Neil Cavuto. I mean, you name it. Everyone showed up because I was the only guy in the country that went in a bunker for the Mayan calendar thing. But I thought it would be fun. Yeah. And I was basically just sitting down there and going hunting. So I didn't stay down the bunker the whole time. I would come in and out. So it was, because I had to, there was TV crews there. But I basically was just telling them, I was just there hog hunting or something, or deer hunting, whatever, because out on our ranch, we got 6,000 acres and there's deer and pig everywhere. So at night on the cameras, I could see all the deer and the pigs, and I was putting corn out there just so they'd come up really close. But if I left the hatch open, I swear it seemed like some of the rabbits and the pigs were going to fall in my hatch. I didn't want to startle them and then end up with a pig in my bunker, but I did end up with a rabbit in my bunker. So,
Here's another one from Ryan.
Rabbit, you know what? I mean, it was natural. A rabbit jumped down the hole and he fell all the way down the stairs, but I found him in the mudroom. So, I grabbed him by the ears and took him out.
How does the bunker deal with human waste disposal?
Okay, well, there's different types of systems. If you have a larger bunker, like say an expensive bunker, you're going to have a typical septic system. So you're going to have all the amenities of a house. You're going to have running water, hot water, flushing toilets. You'll have everything, but you got to have a good steady water supply source to be able to flush the toilet, because every time you do, it's like 1.1 gallons. If you're in a smaller shelter, you typically will not have plumbing. And when I mean smaller, I mean something the size of a small shipping container, like a 8x20. You don't have room for the plumbing and all the water storage, and you don't want to use up your water. So you do either a composting toilet or a dry flush toilet. So you can do a composting toilet in a bunker with under the floor storage, because you got room to store the compost. If you don't have storage under the floor, you want to do a dry flush toilet. And what a dry flush toilet is when you poop, you hit a button and it ziplocks your poo-poo. And when you pee in a bottle. And that's how you survive in a shelter with no plumbing.
That's kind of like on the movie The Martian. It was something similar to that, from what I remember.
Well, they probably reused all the water on The Martian, yeah.
Yeah, for the poop, it went in little baggies. Right?
Well, yeah. It's the same thing as The Martian, yeah. And then he took the bags out and they used
grew potatoes.
Potatoes, yeah. So it's just common sense. That's how you do it, yeah.
Yeah, this is another
such a precious commodity. Yeah,
totally. This is another one for Prepper Agenda. By the way, Prepper Agenda was the one that helped set me up with Ron, so he gets priority comments. So we got Ron. What's Prepper the installation? Agenda. What's the installation time and cost for the average bunker, and do you offer any warranty or guarantee?
The average cost. Well, okay, that's a loaded question because I got bunkers all over the place.
You have a wide range from what I've seen. So
yeah, I got a wide range, but let's say the average $40,000 bunker probably costs $10,000 to install. It's typically about 20% of the cost of the bunker. The warranty is lifetime, all the welding, in the manufacturing of steel. The warranty is 2 years on all the electrical and parts, including the air system. So I've never had to warranty anything other than I had to go back and replace a pipe. Well, it wasn't even my fault, but somebody put a cinder block under the escape tunnel, and the weight of the earth caused it to bust the seam and leak. And I went and replaced it, even though it wasn't my fault. The general contractor put the block there. I went ahead and fixed it and replaced it and put a brand new one in that was not made of galvanized. It was on a watertight shelter. And at the last minute, they ordered a escape, and all I had on hand was a culvert escape. So I put that on there. And normally I wouldn't do that, but you normally don't have a problem. But the point is, I didn't have to warranty, yet I did. So I did a video about Atlas stands behind its products or something. And I got a lot of praise for that. I mean, the amount of people that watched that and gave me a thumbs up for fixing something that wasn't really my fault. But I've had to go back and fix a couple bunkers, because when you deal with anything underground, you can hit issues. Like, the worst thing is to hit an underground spring that no one had an idea it was there. There's nothing wrong with the bunker, but you can get water in a bunker and you can cause it to flood.
Yeah, I'm taking it. Yeah, so I have the video up here right now. I could put a link in the chat room really quick. This is Atlas stands behind its products, repair of an escape tunnel. Let me put this in the chat room really quick if anyone wants to see it. And then I saw a cool question over here. This was from Silver Spike 777. Can you build these bunkers in Florida where we don't have basements? I would imagine so.
Yeah, you can. It's just an all welded shelter. It's watertight, and the key thing is that you got to use ballast, which is a nice way to call concrete. But you got to have 64.3 pounds of weight to hold down every cubic feet of air in a bunker. So you take your width times your height times your length of your bunker. You calculate it. It will give you your total cubic volume of air, and then you got to calculate enough concrete so you have the reverse buoyancy to keep it suspended. So that's all you have to do. You just got to put concrete on it and do a watertight. Because I've done shelters in Houston, Texas, which is the Bayou City. And the reason they call it the Bayou City, because you dig down 2 feet and you hit water. And if you dig a 10-foot hole, the next day you have a swimming pool. I mean, the water's literally all the way up to the surface. And it's crazy. But I've done bunkers there. And one thing that people never thought of, when you hit a high water table, it's not always a bad thing, because you have an endless supply of water. So we can actually take the water out of the ground, run it through a sediment filter, then a reverse osmosis filter, and you can drink that water. So you don't really have to store water, because you can pull it out of the ground. So it was actually a good thing in Houston.
And I saw that on I have one of your videos playing right now, but I saw on some of them that you have where you specifically state that they're watertight. But from what I've read, the other ones are watertight too. But
well, they're all watertight with the exception of the culvert. It doesn't mean it will leak. It just means that if you were going to create a submarine, you wouldn't take a submarine down with seams in it that weren't welded. You would have all welded seams. So if you welded the seams, it would be watertight. But culvert is an interlock system, okay? And it will literally float. But if something interrupts the pipe or bust it, it will bust that seam and it will leak through that seam. Okay.
Yeah. So it says watertight shelters are 100% welded design made out of plate steel with welded seams. Okay, cool. Got it.
Yeah. And that illustration right there, that's basically a culvert right there, which I've done a lot of culverts. They are great in like California, Utah, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, anywhere where you have a guaranteed dry soil is fine. I mean, I do them in Montana, Idaho. I mean, mostly in the West. But I've done them everywhere. I mean, I got some going to South Carolina. But if you do that, you got to make sure that you do a French drain and then you put a sump pump in, okay? Because water seems to find its way in a lot of southern states, and you got to get it out, okay? So anything that's built and installed underground should have a French drain and some sort of sump pump system.
Cool. So, man, a lot of good questions that are coming here. I'm trying to get to them as best as I can. Some people are saying that my volume is too loud, but we're doing the best we can here. Let's see.
Anybody commented on my Obama shirt?
Oh, it's a comment. Yeah, the moderators in the comment section are keeping an eye on that because it's confusing everyone. What do you think is the most?
Nobody watching this thinks Atlas and Obama are a team. No. This is a comical shirt. Obama 44, and then I have my. Well, I didn't wear today, but normally I wear a Trump 45 hat, and I got my Obama 44 shirt on today. So if someone would say something, I'm just trying to keep it in order,
Yeah. Let's see. What do you think is the most important personality traits to thrive in a confined space for a number of weeks? Is there?
Say that one again.
This is from James. This is, what do you think the most important personality traits to thrive in a confined space for a number of weeks are?
Oh wow, that's a loaded question. I'll tell you how you can solve that. Real easy. Doors. Okay. No different than if you're living in a house. There's a reason why we have doors on our room, so we can shut out the rest of the world. So I learned that by being down in that bunker for those 11 days. The one thing, it's like when you go to the airport and you go to the bathroom. Imagine if there was no doors on the stall in the bathroom, and you're sitting there doing your business and people are walking by looking at you.
Yeah.
Well, I learned after that, I put doors on every bunker after that. Yeah. It's like, okay. I was just sitting there thinking, if you're in a bunker, just let it be wide open. No, I learned real quick. Now you add a door. So ever since then, I learned that like on my first week in the business, so always put doors.
And one of the things I learned from you, I think, is you, with regard to the toilet, you said it doesn't smell in there because of how it's designed. I think it's the head, which is coming from a ship. I forget the video that was on. Can you talk a little bit about the toilet smell, on how you prevent that from leaching into the rest of the bunker?
On all my bunkers, I put the overpressure blast valve, which is the valve that lets the air out of the bunker. So what you're doing, imagine this: you blow up a balloon. If you keep blowing up a balloon, it will pop. But every now and then you get a balloon that has a tiny microscopic hole, and when you blow up the balloon, the hole will open up. They'll start letting air out, and they'll start squealing, making that noise. Well, the shelter is the same way. It has an overpressure blast valve that once the shelter fills up with enough air, it will open the valve and let the air out. Okay. So if you turn on the air system, it only takes maybe 7-8 minutes that the bunker will fill up with enough air that the valve on the opposite end of the bunker will open and start letting the overpressure, the air out. So that valve is always within about 18 inches of the toilet. So as long as the air system's running when you're doing your business and you're making a stinky one, it takes the smell right out. And I got that right from day one. Okay. I've never done it any other way. That's why they call the toilet the head. Okay. Yeah. You didn't want to poop where you stunk up the rest of the boat. So I got that right.
Sorry, that's good. Maybe this ties into the next question that we have. This is from Zarula. Ron, from a tactical aspect, you always plan around how to defeat a target. That said, how do you defeat someone to break into the bunker? What add-ons do you suggest to fortify the bunker? Maybe the poop smell is the one fortification.
So if you can see behind me there, you enter on one side of the bunker over here. Okay, you enter on the bunker there. If somebody is trying to get into your bunker and they've blocked you off, okay, or they've done anything, you have enough air in that bunker to keep you alive, hopefully for 8, 10, 12 hours. You wait till nightfall, then you go to the other side of the bunker and you go up through this escape. I'm trying to follow my finger here. I'm not very good at it.
You're doing good.
Oh, shoot. But anyway, you go up through that escape thing right there, okay, and you defend yourself by shooting the bad guy. I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't put it in there to get out because I was afraid my hatch was blocked. I got it in case somebody tries to come in the front door. I go out the back door, I escape, or I defend myself.
Does bunkers have the similar laws to like a castle law then, where you could protect your castle? Do you know about that as far as from?
You would think so. I've never heard of anything else. I mean, it would have the same laws that you would have in your house or a car or anything. Yeah. Yeah,
because I know that like with regard to protecting your,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, with regard to protecting your home from, I've heard that if it's a garage that's not attached to the house, that it's under different rules. So I was wondering if I thought so. I thought it was something like that. Someone in the chat room could correct me.
I've never had anybody ask me that, because if someone is actually attacking a bunker.
Mm-hmm.
We are in the midst of a civil war or a world war, and there's really no questions to be asked. So it's kind of a question that no one's ever asked me. It goes without saying, why would your bunker be under attack if we were not under the worst case scenario? Then it's pretty much self-defense.
Yeah, got it. Let's see. Sorry, trying to go through a couple questions. I have some more questions on my end. I saw that recently that you featured you've added the EMP shield, and we had EMP shield on the live stream a couple weeks back. So what kind of testing did you do for the EMP shield? Because it looks like you've been adding it to your bunkers now.
What kind of testing did
I guess you can't really do any testing.
They
you can't
did
really,
the test for me. I hope their tests are right, but I am not an electrician, okay? But they called me and they said, hey, we have this thing that will protect you from a lightning surge, and it will protect you from certain level of an EMP. And it's like, it's the only thing out there. So I'm like, what the heck? It doesn't cost that much. So
yeah,
I started putting them in my bunkers because it's not going to hurt nothing. And at worst case scenario, it will blow the fuse during the lightning strikes. So I don't know how to test it against an EMP, but they said they tested it and showed me the results in all the laboratories and everything. And I haven't heard anything bad about it, but I hope when that EMP goes off, if we ever have one, I hope they all work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
They're not, like I said, they're not very expensive, but I have my doubts sometimes on it, to be honest with you, because I talked to a pilot one time, and he says only the bombers that drop the tactical nukes have EMP protection. Fighters don't even have EMP protection because it's so expensive and hard to do it. But a bomber that's going to drop a tactical nuke has to have it because it's going to drop a nuke and it's going to go off, and it's only going to be 20 miles away. So they have them. So when I hear that, it's like, okay, how can a little $200 device protect you from a nuke? So there must be different levels of the nukes that it will protect against. But I know there's a stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 on EMPs. So like I said, I'm not an expert on it. I did one video of talking about it, and that's about it.
Cool. So I'm going through. So I'm continuing looking through all the questions again. Everyone, make sure you check out Atlas Survival Shelters. I have links in the description box below. I mean, these are like the one to get if you want a bunker, an underground shelter. You go with Atlas. That's a no-brainer.
Subscribe to my channel too.
Subscribe to the channel. So I have a link for Atlas Survival Shelters. Let me put it up on the screen really quick.
Yeah, subscribe too.
Yes, subscribe to his channel. Make sure you go over to Atlas Survival Shelters on Instagram, and I think you're also on. You're on all of them.
I'm not big on Instagram. I mean, I'm pretty much a computer nerd idiot. Okay, the opposite of a nerd. So I do have a social media manager. He does my editing. He manages my Instagram, my LinkedIn, and all the stuff because I don't know. I'm not too old to learn, but I'm too lazy to learn. So I just hire a guy to do it and make sure it done.
Well, on your Instagram, I noticed that you've been kind of buffing out a little bit. I see all these like workout ones where.
Is that on my Instagram?
Yeah, showing some muscle. So I was curious about this.
That's pre-pot belly. That's like 2 years ago. Yeah, Hey, listen, I'm going to give your followers some good advice right now. Okay. I want everyone that's watching this video to make sure you're caught up on your tetanus. Okay. Tetanus is good for 10 years. I got mine yesterday. Okay. If we're getting ready to go into any kind of a war or anything, you remember the movie called Life After Armageddon, where basically there's a big plague and everyone dies off, and this guy's trying to survive. He gets out of the city. He dies from a simple little cut. Okay, that's how the movie ends. He dies from a simple little cut because he couldn't get any antibiotics. Okay.
Yeah.
I suggest everybody get a tetanus shot and get their butts into shape, because if you are out of shape, you may not make it if you have to travel or walk 30, 40 miles. If you can't walk to your car. So I got myself in shape is what I was doing right there, is why I was looking so good. So I was prepared. You got to stay prepared, just like a soldier stays in shape for when they're called. You better keep yourself in shape. And right now, I'm in horrible shape. I'm going to go back to the gym on Tuesday. I'm going to start back in the gym and get myself back into shape. But yeah, I was in, for a 58-year-old man.
Man, look at those guns there. I mean,
Well, I was 56 there, but I was pretty proud that at my age, I got into 17% body fat, and it was bench pressing, 250 pounds or something like that, which is not a lot to most people. To me, it was a lot. at my age, especially not really ever working out. But yeah, I got myself in pretty good shape. But I'm quite the opposite right now. I got a belly and a white beard, and I don't think a homeless lady would look at me right now. So,
well, so I think we got like less than 10 minutes. And so again, I appreciate you coming on. And I want to make sure everyone, if you're not already following Atlas, you probably are, but if you're not, you need to follow him on all his channels. We have a couple guests here that have been working behind the scenes to control the comment section. And so I thought I'd bring them on to ask some of the final questions for Ron before we let him go. So we have Bernie, AKA the Apex Prepper, down in the Portland area. And then we also have Austin Chambers, author of the Cascadia Fallen series.
I see you guys. I see you.
Now we're in our Brady Bunch screen now. So
I have my Obama shirt on too. So.
Really?
It says "Join or Die."
Oh, does it? Oh.
Now, Austin, in your book, in the first Cascadia book, I think you mentioned something about the earthquakes liquefying the ground with the bunkers.
Liquefaction, yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of curious on that particular topic. Did you have any specific questions for Ron, though?
I hadn't even thought about that. I just know if there's a 9.0 mega thrust, even bunkers 6-7 feet under the ground are just going to be screwed. But I mean, you can only do what you can do, right? When you're battling Mother Nature.
I mean, look, like I said earlier, a bunker is no guarantee you will survive. Right. It is just the best chance you're going to have to survive. Look, where do they run the president when he's threatened? They take him to the bunker. You know what? You can't jump on a plane and go to another planet. You could get on a plane and go to New Zealand, but at that immediate moment, anyone and everyone that realizes they want some immediate protection, they just run to their bunker or run to their shelter or run to their basement. That's all you can do.
Right. The bottom line is everything that we can do is a man-made construct trying to fight Mother Nature. And, you can do your best. But...
Yeah. Well, you can't beat Mother Nature, but you can fight back a little bit.
Yep.
Bernie, I know you had some specific questions for Ron. So.
Well, see, the water one was already addressed. The earthquake one just got addressed. So my next question, Ron, first of all, huge fan. Thank you for being here. This is awesome.
Thanks.
The other question I have is your favorite movie that involves a bunker.
My favorite, well, I guess it would be that one with John Gooding, Cloverfield.
Yes. Cloverfield.
That was pretty cool. That's a big bunker, by the way. I would love to have a bunker that big. That was what's called that's what's called multi-plate. It's a Quonset. It's half arch, and mostly only the military does that. But they actually contacted me. That was made by Steven Spielberg, and they actually contacted me to build that bunker. And they ended up just constructing one themselves on the set, So I knew about that movie before it even came out.
Oh, that's crazy.
We're getting requests for an EDC check. I think it's EDC check time. So I don't know, Ron. Do you carry an EDC? Do you carry everyday carry items in your pockets?
Just my concealed carry permit.
Yeah. Okay. I know that Cascade.
No, I do keep my shotgun right here.
Wow. Just for live streams.
Okay.
Monetization.
I carry my.
I got my new COVID mask.
I carry a fire starter, a tarp, pallets of water, freeze-dried food, a walkie-talkie, and a crank radio with a light on it in my car.
Oh, Austin always has a clever EDC on him for these live streams.
Did you see my new COVID mask? It's high tech, low drag.
Yeah, tactical. Super tactical.
Yeah. I'm wearing sweatpants, so today the only EDC I really have on me is my handy Japanese to English, English to Japanese dictionary.
Good.
Because you just never know when you're going to need that. And then my ankle holster, I have some Clabber Girl baking powder. So I carry that on the ankle, though, so no one knows it's there. That's about it.
Okay.
I just moved all my survival gear from California to Texas. Okay. And I filmed it. I haven't edited and done the video, but I got a lot of stuff. I mean, I've got probably 5 or 6 of everything, but the one thing I had a lot of was life straws and water purification systems. I think I have every one that exists. So clean water is something that will be very valuable one day in the future. So that, and what else? Oh, water purification, pills, and everything. I mean, you name it, I pretty much got it. But you know what? Just when you think you got it all, there's something else pops up, and you got to have it too.
Yeah.
You know, Ron. I'm pretty sure you haven't built a shelter here in Oregon. So
Yeah, I have.
no, you haven't. No, you haven't. So I have this plot of land all ready for you. You know.
Ron does not offer employee discounts or family.
Oh man!
There was a comment way back. Someone wanting to know if you go to Puerto Rico.
Yeah. I said bunkers anywhere. Puerto Rico is actually. I got a few bunkers in Puerto Rico. It's not that hard to get it there. You just ship through the port of Miami, and it goes on to what's called a drive-on, drive-off ship, and it's kind of like just a ship with you can drive your 18-wheelers in there, and this runs over to the island. So it costs a few $1,000s to send something over there, plus the road travel, but it's not that bad. If I send a bunker to like New Zealand, it's like $25,000 per piece of the bunker, or per the body of the bunker, like the long part. Yeah.
Okay. Now I think it was Once Upon a Tide was the name of the person who'd asked that one. So I just want to make sure they got their answer.
Okay.
Hey, Prepper Agenda just posted a good question. Ron, has any of your videos been banned or flagged?
2 have been taken down, but they were both about COVID, and I think they did that to everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was like in the early stages of COVID, like all of the videos were getting either flagged or banned or something, and then all of a sudden, then it was cool. I don't know what happened, but
yeah. Yeah, I've only had those 2 banned, but they did them to everybody. So I've never received a strike on my channel. I have had videos demonetized because they have guns in them, but I wasn't even doing nothing with the guns. But you can argue it, but if they see a gun, typically they demonetize you just for having it.
So this live stream may get demonetized because we shot the
shotgun. The shotgun. Oh, there we go.
That was a toy gun. It was plastic.
That was the new Super Soaker that just came out. So, all right, well. I don't want to take up too much more of Ron's time because I know he has a lot of welding to do and other things going on while he's in California.
I'm in California today. I just came to check on things. Let's keep going another hour.
Oh, wow. But my wife has some stuff for me to do outside because I'm supposed to be doing some gardening projects. But I was showing, again, everyone that's been watching this live stream, thanks so much for the chats and everything. Make sure that you subscribe to Atlas Survival Shelters. He has all sorts of information on his YouTube channel with regard to the various bunkers that he offers, some other cool, interesting topics on things to think about. And then also follow him on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, you name it. You can check out some of the muscle photos again of Ron.
I'll take those down. Okay.
Now keep those on. I like those. And then on his website, he has all of these different options, whatever your price range is. I mean, it's not cheap to get a bunker overall, but
you know how he got those muscles, right? He was using that stripper pole for 11 days.
That would be a fun video. Maybe if I did a review of a Atlas survival shelter, I would want to review the stripper pole.
There's a few bunkers with stripper poles in them out there. So
that's awesome. So on this channel, there's whether your price range is $20,000 or $1 million, there's a bunker for you, and you should definitely get it from Atlas Survival Shelters. So
absolutely.
Well, Ron, thank you. Ron, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the stream, and everyone, I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this, and it's thanks for everyone that did the chat. Thanks for everyone that did super chats. That was a first for me, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
so, but yeah, and again, special thanks to Austin, to Bernie, because they help keep the chat room clean, and because we know that Ron was super controversial with his MAGA hat and Obama shirt, so. So fortunately we had professionals moderating the chat room. So.
Yeah, there it is.
All right, guys.
You know where my heart stands.
Well, thanks everyone for attending this live stream, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.
All right.
See you later, guys.